I'm 82 years old, but I feel like 40 years in my body. I can do whatever any 40-year-old can do because I started practicing this naturopathy as a teenager. And one thing is that you can practice it anytime. Even if you are 90 years old and you have made many mistakes in the past, you can go right back and start afresh and you will become younger. So these principles are very important. Let's get to another principle. We have said that we treat the whole person. We don't treat diseases, we treat the whole person. If a complaint is made, we look at the symptoms, but we go to the root of the symptoms and then treat the whole person. We have also said that prevention is better than cure. Diseases are not necessarily caused by germs. This is a very important principle. As I'm speaking to you, my body is full of germs, microbes, bacteria, viruses. Even as I breathe in day by day, some viruses are entering me. COVID-19 virus is inside me and it's inside you already because it's all over. But if the immune system is working well, all the types of germs in you can do no harm because the soldiers in you, the corpuscles and the organelles and all types of things are fighting through the immune system to keep homeostasis, to make you balanced. And you go about thinking that there's nothing in you. There are millions of microbes in our bodies. So we need to note it, that we cannot prevent germs entering our bodies, but we can make them ineffective. We can make them useless in our bodies. Accumulation of morbid materials, accumulation of toxins in our body is the major cause of diseases. And they come mainly through what we eat. If we eat trash, we shall have a lot of bad things in our bodies. If we eat well, now what we eat will be used by the body to fight diseases because those things will keep the immune system working effectively. We need minerals, we need vitamins, and some of the vitamins can even not be produced from outside. Some healthy bacteria within our bodies can be made to produce those vitamins that are not even in the food that we eat. So a lot of knowledge about what to eat and what not to eat is important. If you eat too much sugar, you are going to get into trouble. If you eat polluted food, you will get into trouble. If you overeat, you will get into trouble. In naturopathy, moderation is a rule. Too much of everything can be bad. Again, in naturopathy, fasting, regular fasting is encouraged. The organs of the body need some rest to recuperate and do better work. Continuous use of the organs of the body, the systems of the body, can get us into trouble. So there should be some form of respite for the organs of the body. One way to do that is to have enough sleep. When we sleep, the organs slow down and the body is able to repair many things within the organs and the systems. There is even one way of fasting every day. You decide to eat most of your food and your drinks within 8 hours of the day. And you have 16 hours of the 24 hours without eating at all. And you will still be full. We can go on one day to discuss that fully. but it's a way of alternative fasting. You do it unconsciously and you are very fit. It's a wonderful way of losing weight. Now that we are talking about losing weight, which is very important, one of the things we should be doing, which is another principle, is exercise. Naturopathy emphasizes movement. If you stop to move enough, you begin to die. Movement is very important. It tones up every system and every organ in the body. As you move, you set off vibrations. You cause the blood system to work better. You cause the hormonal system to be effective. You cause the brain to rejuvenate itself. You see that we are touching so many things, and they are all interrelated. Now, another principle is the mental attitude of the client. Our desire to get well is very important in healing. There must be a determination to get well. As a man thinks, so is he. If you think you are going to get well and you imagine yourself getting well, you will get well. Now, this borders on faith, you know. There are many diseases that are psychosomatic. That means they are not just physical. They are connected with our thinking and our faith. It has been proved scientifically that people who pray receive healing. Do you know that it doesn't even matter whether you are a Muslim or a Christian? Once you are looking outside to a creator somewhere who is responsible for your life, a measure of healing comes into you. Now, the best way to do it is to be connected with the one who says, I am the way, the truth, and the life. Nobody comes to the Father but by me. The one of whom it is said, all things were made by him and for him. And without him was nothing made that has been made. His name is Jesus Christ. When you link up to him, as I have done for over 60 years, you enjoy not only life, but abundant life. I pray 24 hours. I pray 24 hours. Even in my sleep, I pray. When I wake up, it is prayer. As I'm speaking with you right now, I am praying. My subconscious mind is praying. I am connected. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Christ in me is the hope of glory. So, a connection with the Maker, the Creator, is one of the best ways to maintain health. Apart from me, you can do nothing. So in naturopathy, we encourage people to look outside of their body and connect with the universal creator. And he's no respecter of persons. When you honor him, he will honor you. Your body belongs to you. You cannot create even one cell. He says the very hairs of your head are numbered, and not one of them falls to the ground without his knowledge. You cannot create even one hair. No scientist can create one hair. It has not been possible yet. If they are going to create and clone something, they must start from something that was made before. I think I have spoken enough as an introduction to naturopathy, but there are hundreds and hundreds of topics that can be discussed in detail in future. I'm going to leave the rest of the time for questions and answers. Please, you can ask any question from any angle so far as health is concerned. To end, I want to say that naturopathy is open and eclectic. That means it doesn't stand on its own. It cooperates with allopathic medicine wherever possible. There are things that allopathic medicine can do, which naturopathy cannot do. But I want to say that it is possible to live 100 years, 200 years without necessarily using allopathic medicine, but depending on naturopathy. I want to pose one question to you. Which allopathic medicine did Methuselah use? The oldest living person, almost 1,000 years. Do you know that he never measured his blood pressure? Do you know that he never measured the sugar level? But do you know why he didn't need to measure all those things? Because he ate well and drank well. He obeyed natural rules. Today, we are building our own towers. We are building the Tower of Babel. We think we know better. I think we need to go back to nature and cooperate with nature so that the Father may use the things he has made before he made us to heal our bodies. Thank you.
Everyone, please unmute your mics and give Dr. Oye a round of applause.
Thank you.
Dr. Oye, thank you so much. We already have questions in the chat room. So Dr. Aiti, I'm going to call on you first. If you have questions for Dr. Oye, please feel free to raise your hand. Before we begin our questions, I'm going to return to Dr. O for her to give us just some comments and thoughts before we begin our question and answer series. Dr. O?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir, for that awesome introduction. It buttresses everything we've talked about. However, I want to make the point that Methuselah lived all those years, almost 1,000 years, and didn't check his blood pressure. As far as we know, he didn't. He didn't need to, because we are in 2021. What are we putting into our bodies? We talked about this before.
Exactly.
The foods we eat now are loaded with insecticides to make sure that insects don't eat the plants and they grow well. Chicken or eggs rather, go from eggs to chicken in 2 weeks with hormones and antibiotics, and the list goes on. So all those things make it so that it is important that we do those routine health maintenance. We check blood pressures, blood sugar, we check our thyroid, we check cholesterol, we check our cardiovascular health to see if there are any problems. Catching them before, like we just heard, is better than wanting to now treat or heal. Like I've said before, we do a lot better when we catch disease entities before they actually occur. That's what preventive medicine is. That's why that yearly routine physical is important, so that you get everything checked, and if there's an hint of something going awry, we can combat it. Doing your colonoscopy is important. You have polyps, it gets removed right away, and that's a cure. So those routine health maintenance things are important. And once we find something, then you can decide, do you want to go the naturopathic way, allopathic way, or have you instituted naturopathic things so that when you do your routine health maintenance, everything is
sound.
You see how they all complement? So we need to learn how to take care of the foundation of the basis, so that when you come to me and I check you out, I can give you a clean bill of health.
Sure.
So I'm going to defer back to Brother Mike. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. O.
Continue, Dr. Mike, if you have any additional comments before we start our Q&A.
Good. I like what Dr. O just said, because she has emphasized again that prevention is better than cure, and that if we have gone astray into some things, we need to come back, do a checkup, and then have a remedy that is appropriate. Thank you very much, Dr. O.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. And now we're going to get started with our Q&A. I am so excited, Doctor. I have so many things to ask myself, but I'm absolutely going to begin. Dr. Ayiti?
Dr. Oye.
Hello.
Yes, go right ahead.
Hi, thank you. Thank you so much for bringing a wealth of information, factual information, and giving us the tools led by God, what he has given us to live our best life. My question is always that we can do so much. We have so much information or tools in order to make ourselves healthy and to do well. But some of these things are taken from us just by the world we live in, like the businesses, the manufacturers making food that's more so to serve the shelf life versus our life. And in dealing with so many things, trying to tell the patients and tell ourselves how to select the best that we have available. So many foods have already artificial ingredients, loaded with sugar, loaded with salt, loaded with chemicals. And then they went years ago to genetic modified food, as the food sources were not available or they were dying. They didn't have the best climate. So we have a load of these things out there, and even in the water supply. So what would you say would be some of the things that we can look for or try to make decisions on when we're out there shopping and trying to get the best food for our health?
Okay. Thank you very much. That's a very pragmatic question. First of all, I think if we can afford it, and I suggest we should be able to afford it, we should look for foodstuffs that are organically produced. That is very important. It may cost more money, but our health is more important than the cash. So we should look for organically produced foods. There are many places where they do that, both animal products and vegetative products. We can get them at the shops, in the markets, and so on. Still connected with that, I think it is good to have a small garden behind the house where you know what you are producing. Adam and Eve were created in the garden and they ate from the garden. Now, I have always kept a garden wherever I go, wherever. As I'm speaking to you right now, I am just a few feet away from my garden. Anywhere I travel to, I make a garden so that most of the vegetable I eat is from the garden. When I get a bigger land, I plant permanent crops, fruit trees, and so on. My home in Nigeria is a 3-acre land, and I live in a jungle there. I have fruit trees surrounding me. It's the Garden of Eden. I call it Joy House. So I eat fresh things. I don't like the chemicalized products and so on. We have ruined the world with our chemicals. I don't know whether I'm answering your question.
Yes, sir. You are answering my question. Thank you so much.
Even the water we drink, we can purify that water. The water that comes from the tap. The water I drink in my house comes with removal of, heavy metals and all types of things from it. You are
Wonderful.
what you eat. Is very, very important. There are some things we should totally avoid completely. Soft drinks, soda is just poison to the body. So there are some things that are tasty in the mouth, but poison to the body, which you should avoid. Living well needs a lot of discipline in our society today. Self-discipline. Yep.
Awesome, Dr. Oye. We have another question from Jimmy. Jimmy Akintonde.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Michael. I've learned a lot in these past few minutes since you started sharing with us. Thank you so very much. Now, during this pandemic, everybody is concerned about improving their immune system.
Good.
Now, in terms of naturopathic medicine, what would you recommend as the necessary ingredients we should take into our body to boost the immune system?
Thank you very much. That's a big question. Because of time, Dr. O. Dr. O.
Yes, sir.
I sent an article to you. I sent an article to you about COVID-19. Did you have time to read it? Not yet.
To this.
I wrote it a year ago when COVID-19 began. And I wrote it for the whole world on Facebook so that anybody in the world could, go through that simple article and have something for the immune system permanently, not only against COVID-19, but against every other virus that may ever arise, whether 2 strains or 20 more strains and so on. If you don't mind, I will send it to you again so that you can distribute to all our people who are listening. It's free of charge.
Yes, sir. Please, sir. I'm looking for it. So because of time, if you can send it again, sir, then I will.
Yes, I'll send it. So that answers my brother's question. But you see, we have in our kitchen all the things that can help us to boost our immune system against any virus, any. Let me quickly mention some of them. Turmeric is number 1. Turmeric, God created it for our, in fact, he's a very wonderful God. Garlic is another. Are we okay?
Yes, sir.
In fact, even if just those 2 are constantly going into our diet, we build up wonderful immune system against viruses. Ginger is another one. You may think these things are commonplace, but let me tell you, they are very powerful. Because of very poor people, God made it available to everybody. In fact, it is the rich people who don't take those things and they die. The poor people in the villages, who eat these things and also eat a lot of greens and fresh fruits have immunity against many, many viruses. Green vegetables.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mike. May I ask a question? So when we're often thinking about ginger, I often take the fresh ginger root and make a tea. And I take ginger and sometimes use the ground granulated and sprinkle when I'm preparing foods. For these main spices, is there a best practices? Should we try to always have it fresh, or is it okay when we purchase it in the store and shake it out of a glass jar?
It doesn't matter how you take it. The important thing is for it to get in. Yep.
Wonderful, wonderful.
I found the article, sir. You sent it July 31st, 2020.
Yeah,
And
correct.
just to
The title is A Stitch in Time.
A Stitch in Time
Yes.
is the title, sir.
Please
And
make it available.
I'll make it available, sir. And I think everybody registered before coming in today with their emails. So we will utilize that to send it out.
Yes, please.
But some of the things that you mentioned there is Moringa oleifera.
Yes.
Antiviral is bitter leaf, Veronia
amygdalina.
Number 3, bronchodilators, Euphorbia hirtia. I don't know what that is.
Now, Euphorbia hirtia is called asthma plant. Asthma plant.
Asthma plant.
Yeah.
Passiflora edulis.
Yes, that is passion flower.
Like in passion tea.
Yes, passion flower is very wonderful.
Yes.
It's also a vasodilator. It can also cause you to sleep deeply.
Amazing sleep aid. Yes, yeah. I vouch for that one. Terminalia
catapa. Terminalia catapa is very common. That's the umbrella tree.
And then you have the fruits and nuts, the
pistachio, all those nuts.
So we'll send it to the email so everyone on the program.
Wonderful. Our next question came from Hannah and Ephraim.
Thank you, Dr. Jennifer. Thank you.
Oh,
yeah.
You are the prize winner, eh?
Yeah, we thank God. We can do the best we can. I go.
Hey, Utichi. Utichi.
Papa.
Hey. Akwaba.
We're not selling everybody here. We're speaking some English here. God bless you all. Big English.
Good.
Right. So 82 years. Congratulations. That's beautiful. You don't look it. It's really awesome. We all want to be like you when we grow up.
Amen.
That's right. So now, the question I'm going to ask you mentioned 8 hours should be the appropriate or good time, ideal for us to eat. And then
eat all the food you want to eat in the day.
Oh, okay. I was going to ask, what do we do? But I think you mentioned that because I realized that when we started this Medical Monday, Dr. O can attest to it. I'm about 208 or 206 by weight. But I heard one thing from Dr. O, Dr. Caprice, and it was also reiterated last week by eating in portions.
Oh yeah, you can eat in portions.
Yes, I do normally do once a day and I'm good to go. But of course, it's not the portion that should really spread through the body to make sure the body can work evenly and do a good job.
Yeah.
So just a way of testimony to praise God, within these few weeks, I'm at 200, 199, meaning that something good is working.
Yeah,
so
correct.
Mention discipline.
This is great. Even the 8 hours I said, you can eat 4 times, you know. You can eat 4 times if you want. You can eat 3 times. And then the quantity is also important.
Right.
Don't eat too heavily at once.
That's right.
Yeah.
As so and then in portions, those are 2 magic words I've got it.
Correct.
From
Correct.
Mondays.
Yes.
The God. Now,
and then it also depends on the quality of what you are eating.
Okay.
If you eat too many carbohydrates, you will be hungry. But if you eat more of protein, you will be satiated. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So the next one is, because of COVID-19, people are so scared. They don't want to do it anymore. Also, there's another one that I was told that when I was back in Africa, they said, if you do it, the white man will give you money. And that's to say the passing of gas. They do in terms of helping us heal the body as well, these 2 things.
Do you know, from what I said earlier, if you are eating well and your immune system is okay, you don't need to fear sneezing or any other thing, because you cannot avoid it. The germs are already in the atmosphere. It is what you are inside that matters. So building up the immune system is the solution to most of the things.
I have a question, sir.
Yes.
You recommended organic foods.
Yep.
And one of the reasons why we tilt to organic food is that it has no fertilizers, insecticides, stuff like
pesticides.
that. But I've learned that they use fertilizers in organic foods too. They just different fertilizers than the one that we are used to that cause problems. So
Now,
can you say something about that, sir? The kind of fertilizers, because they do use something.
Thank you. The pharmaceutical companies are forcing governments to insist on the use of some chemicals, even in organic farming. But you see, they cannot insist that I, Mike Oye, should use anything they have produced in my garden. That's why I'm emphasizing first-hand production of vegetables at the backyard. You see, we need only a little piece of land, very, very little, even 15 by 15 feet of land for producing home vegetables that are extremely important for health. And if we are going to use anything, it's a matter of recycling products in the farm itself to, give the right type of products which we should eat. I think you must know what you are eating. So producing it yourself is the best way. Another thing is that in local places, particularly in Africa and so on, most of the things can be produced without any use of artificial fertilizer at all. I happen to have a certain formula for rural development. Perhaps we will learn it one day. It's a very integrated formula for producing the right food, eating the right food, having the right medication right from the farm, and so on and so forth. So it is the developed countries particularly that insist on chemicals for production. Yeah.
Sir, follow-up question, sir. It is possible to grow one's fruits in like buckets?
Oh, yes.
Soiling and
you can grow a whole orange tree in a bucket.
Yes.
You can, and one of the methods which is best done is to use old tires, car tires. Put 2 or 3 tires on top of each other. Fill it with soil and plant a tree. You can plant a tree inside. You can also use bags. You can use bags, empty bags. Fill the bags with soil. You can even grow yam there. You can grow yam, you can grow vegetables, you can grow cocoyam, you can grow cassava, you can grow anything. Movable bags. All you do is to put them on your veranda or at the backyard and be watering the thing. One of the best fertilizers is ash, wood ash. It contains potassium and all the trace elements.
Wood ash.
Wood ash, ordinary wood ash from anything you burn.
Oh.
Any natural thing you burn, the ash. Actually, I use it here. I use it at the back here.
Not manure, like
you can use manure if you get it.
Like
animal. You can use manure if you get it. Poultry manure, you can use cow dung, you can use anything.
So, sir, how do one know what, the root is always important. Foundation is always important.
Yes.
How do one know, for instance, if you want to grow, say, kale, how do one know which kill to get? Because if we get chemical kill already, then, I mean, the foundation is wrong to start off with. How do one know the seed, where to get the proper seed?
No, seed, the seed is not going to produce chemicals. The seed is going to be true to its genetic makeup. So it is a substrate, the soil, that is important. So even if you get the normal seed they sell in shops and so on, it's going to produce good vegetable for you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Are there any other questions that we have in the chat box? We have some comments, Dr. Mike, and I can tell you this is the quietest night that our audience has ever been, and I can only assume that it is both because you have done an exceptional job at teaching us, but an equally exceptional job at challenging us. And so we just want to commend and appreciate if there's anyone else who has questions, because between me, Dr. O, and Caprice, we could have this conversation for 3 more hours. We've already had Dr. Mike on our plans, so I'm taking a point of personal privilege that we're going to be following up with you to make you perhaps a quarterly or biannual feature on the Dr. O show, because some of the things that you've talked to us about, we need to hear more from you. And so I hope that your heart feels the love that we have before I start asking my questions.
Good, thank you.
Dr. O, please let us know. We've been texting offline saying we got to have him back. We got to have him back. So please let us know how we can work with you to ensure that we have this amazing awesomeness back.
Definitely. I'll call on Brother Mike, and I guarantee that he'll be like, sure, I called on him last night.
So thank you so much, Dr. O. Dr. Mike, I don't know if you remember, some years ago, Toyin gave a call and said you were here visiting. And so I said, I have to come and meet him. And we may have talked for 20 minutes because I was on my way to yet another meeting. And you gave me a pearl of wisdom that has blessed me all these years. What you said to me was, I was telling you that I do a lot, and I just I run all day, and then I pause, and you asked me a simple question. You said, do you control your schedule, or does someone else control your schedule? And I said, well, no, I really control it. And you said, if you want to decompress, de-stress, and enjoy your life, give yourself time between appointments. It will change your life. And it did. And so every time I get busy and I don't give myself enough time, I pause and I remember, I control my schedule. My husband reminds me all the time, I control my schedule. Dr. O and Dr. Aiti remind me all the time, I control my schedule. Great. And so I have made it a lifestyle change to give myself time for a comfort break, for food, for a quiet moment, to meditate and prepare for the next meeting. Wonderful. So your brilliance is beyond exceptional, and your wisdom, I think, is more valuable than your words about health.
Thank you very much. That's an encouragement to me.
It is. And so my first question is, when it comes to implementing all of the things that you said were preventative and health promoting into our life, in our busy days, we want to have a process for bringing in things. What do you think is like the number one thing we need to do starting tonight?
Regularity, regularity in living. We must be rhythmical in our living. There must be a set time for each thing. When you wake up, what do you do first? Well, in my own life, I pray, because I am not of myself. Somebody made me, and I need to commit my life to him. It may be only a few minutes, but it's extremely important. The next thing I do is to drink water. It is the engine oil for the body. The next thing I do now, that water I drink is usually warm, you know.
Yes.
What that does is to stimulate my gut, and everything begins to wake up inside the gut. And one of the things that happens is that it also stimulates peristalsis, rhythmical movements in my colon.
Yes.
And the peristalsis in the colon goes one direction.
Yes.
It makes me have the feeling from my nervous system down there that I should visit the bathroom. And psychologically, I visit the bathroom and do elimination. That makes me also have some good appetite. I feel light. And that lightness, you know, is health. Then I go to prepare something small to eat, but I start with a fruit. The fruit gives me immediate energy. I feel on top of the world when I suck one orange or eat a pear or eat one banana. Then I like having breakfast. I don't eat fruit and breakfast together at once. I make sure that I eat the fruit first, and whilst I'm preparing the breakfast, that one is going on doing the work. I like eating warm food. I don't eat anything cold at all. I don't drink cold water. Americans drink iced water. I don't. The stomach and the intestines don't like anything cold. It causes indigestion and cumulatively can cause even cancer. Then I find time either in the morning or in the evening to walk. Now, when I finish with you right now, I'm going to do my walk. I also make sure that to increase my movement, I don't delegate too many things to other people to do. I do them myself. House chores. As old as I am, I do a lot of house chores. I wash my plates. I don't allow my wife to do everything. I wash my plates. And I dance, you know. Did you hear me?
Yes.
I put on Ghanaian high life. Ghanaian high life. I was born in Ghana. I put on Ghanaian high life and dance. Whilst dancing, I'm praising God because all the high lives are Christian songs. So I'm doing many things together, spiritual, mental, physical. And I have my meals regularly. I make sure that I eat some nuts. When my wife forgets to eat nuts, I force her to eat that. As I'm putting one in my mouth, I go to her and put one in her mouth because I want her to be healthy. So I eat nuts, I eat vegetables. I make sure that the food I eat in a day is like a rainbow. Different colors, you know, carrots, greens, broccoli, orange, and so on, different colors. Then I listen to news, I relax, listen to some news. Of course, I go about my naturopathic work. I have a lab behind my house where I go there, mix all types of things. And then I go to the post office 3 times a week to post the parcels to people who need medication. Just about that. You see, regularity, anyway. Our God himself is a rhythmic God. The days and the weeks and the months and the seasons go by. So we should be a bit predictable. And then one day, when I am fully ripe, I will be harvested to heaven.
That is absolutely beautiful. I took the best notes that I could, and I'm going to drop them in the chat box. It was absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful, giving us a rhythmic living is what I've called it. Live your life with rhythm, be a bit predictable, and just all of it. Thank you so much. Are there any questions? Does anyone, I think I saw Hannah and AJ put a question in the chat box. If there are any other questions, please ask them now.
Thank you, Dr. Oye. God richly bless you for this great information given us.
Amen.
I wanted to ask, what can one do to get rid of constant weakness?
Constant
weakness,
fatigue. Morbidity is the major cause of weakness. I've used one big word, that is toxins in the body. So any form of detoxification will help. Now, to detoxify the body, sometimes you may need to eat food that is a bit laxative, or drink some tea from some leaves that are laxative. Eating fruits by itself is also laxative. Having enough sleep per day restores strength. You see, when we sleep, we are allowing God to operate on our bodies. Unknown to us, angels enter our bodies and come out. They do operations which we don't know. When we sleep, it's as if we are on the operation theater, we are in the theater, and the master doctor is working upon us. He gives his beloved sleep. We wake up stronger than we slept. But in America, people don't sleep. In fact, it's becoming a chronic disease all over the world. People don't sleep enough. 4 hours, they are up. They are looking for money. It's not in the labor that the money comes always. If we rest well, we will be stronger to do more effective work in a few hours. So 7 hours to 8 hours of sleep is extremely important for an adult. If you don't sleep enough, you have an accumulated debt of sleep. And if you don't pay the debt, you will be weak. Again, drinking enough water is purification of the body. There are also some herbs that are called nervines. I want you to note that. You can search for all nervines on your internet. Some herbs that are called nervines that are able to make the nervous system and the brain healthier, stronger. And because the nervous system coordinates activities in the body and brings homeostasis, it's good to keep the nervous system in sound shape. You see, I told you I'm 82, but let me tell you, my mind is very sharp. It's because I made sure that I drink some nervines as tea from time to time. One of them is stinging nettle. Another one is that Terminalia catapa. There is another one called Rauwolfia. You can check this in the internet. Rauwolfia, Rauvolfia, Rauwolfia vomitoria. Those are big names. Vomitoria, Rauwolfia vomitoria. It's a good nervine. These things I'm mentioning are food to the brain and to the nervous system. They do many other things, but I'm emphasizing the nervine property. Another one which is very popular is ginkgo biloba. You can make any one of these into tea. They have many, many advantages.
Thank you so much, Dr. Oye. This has been a phenomenal, phenomenal experience with you. An evening, I'm just sitting and feeling calm and assured. Dr. O has placed your number in the box. A few people have asked for follow-up with you if you are taking patients. And one person asked about detox colonic infusions. They asked about supplements and some other things. So I just wanted you to speak on that, and then we're going to wrap up our evening with a medical moment with Dr. O. And so we want to hear these final comments tonight from you.
Okay. The colon needs to be cleansed from time to time. And the colon is prone to cancer because there are so many dirty things that accumulate in the diverticulum, the folds within the colon. And it is good to get rid of those things. So again, taking herbs and eating fruits and foods that are a bit laxative is important because the colon has to be emptied very well. Avoiding constipation is one major way of cleansing. Those of you who have access to vegetables like bitter leaf, Vernonia amygdalina, jute plant, Cocorus olitorius, jute plant. I don't know whether some of us know it.
That's Ewedu.
Ewedu, correct?
Or,
Ewedu.
Yorubas.
Yes.
And yeah, I think it's in the African stores, it's called jute plant.
Jute plant, yes. Once you know the scientific name, you can Google it and find the image, you know. It's Cocorus olitorius. In Ghana and some West African countries, the tender leaf of cocoyam is also very laxative. The Ghanaians eat it a lot. They call it kontomire. Then one general way of cleansing the gut, because most of the impurities are in the gut, of cleansing the gut is to have a mixture of vegetables. Incidentally, I must say that the country in the world that is the best vegetable soups for strength is that little country called Gambia. Gambia. They have the best soups in the world. They are not rich, but they eat well. They'll eat a little loaf of rice, and the rice will be like an island surrounded by a river of wonderful vegetables. They are very strong. They are lanky. It's very rare to find any fat person among them. And they are very strong. So vegetables are very important because that is the storehouse of the minerals and the vitamins needed for the immune system. The chlorophyll in the chloroplast is the basis of life. If you want to know why I'm saying that, go to Genesis chapter 1, verse 29. You will find God's prescription for living. I hope I've answered that question. Oh, okra is super. Okra is super. Please, okra is directly going to reduce your blood sugar to normal. Okra is very good. I eat it. I've eaten it this afternoon.
But Dr. Wade, not fried, correct? African Americans, we eat it fried too. I just want to make sure, not fried.
Yes, she was asking if the okra that's not fried. She's saying that we should not fry it.
Oh, okay.
What's your comment on that?
Well, actually, generally speaking, frying things is not good. Yeah. You can cook it, you can boil it, slice it and boil it with other ingredients. The slimy part is extremely important. The slimy part is a lubricant for organs like the kidneys. That mucilage prevents accumulation of stones in the kidneys. It makes for the smooth movement of stones through the kidneys out. And the same mucilage controls blood sugar. Okra, eaten whole, is also very important for male vigor.
Sir, could you say that again? Is it eaten raw or whole?
No, you cook it. You cook it. I said whole. That is eating both the seeds and the flesh. Incidentally, the tender leaves are also eaten. The tender leaves are very rich, and they have effect on the balance of the thyroid secretion, thyroxine. Women particularly can suffer from imbalance in the thyroid secretion, and eating okra is important for it.
Which leaves are you talking about, sir?
The leaf of the okra.
I've never seen that.
The tender ones at the top. Very rich in minerals.
So I'm sorry, this is Dr. Caprice. So do you boil? I've never heard that. So you boil the leaves with the okra?
The okra?
Yeah, the leaves with the okra. Do you boil
have you seen the plant before?
No.
Well, I have grown it many times. The tender leaves at the top, can be harvested and used. It's very slimy. You can cook it with ingredients. You can add melon to it. Melon. Do you know melon?
Watermelon, sir?
No, not watermelon, egusi.
Egusi, yes, sir.
They are of the same family with watermelon anyway.
Yeah.
Incidentally, all the members of the watermelon family are hypoglycemic. They will reduce blood sugar, all of them, including the seed of watermelon itself, those black seeds. When I eat watermelon, I chew the seeds with it.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. It may not be very pleasant, but you see, I eat with knowledge. I don't eat for just taste.
I see. What about melon leaves?
Well, I haven't tried melon leaf, but I eat the leaves and the tender fruits of that sponge. That cylindrical sponge that looks like watermelon. You know it? It looks like cucumber.
Oh, okay.
You know the one they use for sponge?
Oh, okay.
The fibrous one.
Yes.
Yes. When the fruit is tender, it looks like okra, very young. I chop it into pieces and eat it. It controls blood sugar. And I eat the leaves too.
Wow.
Thank you so
Yeah, sometimes
much.
I eat some things like a goat, you know. You know, goats don't get very sick.
Yeah, let's talk about meat.
Oh my gosh. Somebody is asking, can you conduct a class, please? Can we have a cooking class? Dr.
We
Cameron?
can.
Jennifer, I defer to you for this question.
Absolutely, absolutely. That Dr. Mike, in our Zoom show, we are going to be able to have streamed in for chefs, for cooking. So if you want to make your next quarterly show a cooking show where you give us a recipe and you stand and have your computer facing you at the sink, we will talk offline about the how and logistics so that you can give us a cooking show, or you can be prepared to give us recipes, because we are all talking about that soup. We're all talking about looking at okra leaves. I have seen the plant. I've picked them from the fields, but I've never eaten the leaves. So I'm already doing my homework.
Good.
So
Dr. Jones,
yes.
there are questions, Dr. Ajagbe, in there, and Cindy raised her hand. She's been raising her hand for a while.
I did not see your hand, Cindy. I'm so sorry. I just got a text from a friend who has just been admitted into the hospital for COVID. There was an outbreak in his office. And so first he said, I need medical help. I said, get on the Dr. O's show. And then he said, I'm in Beth Israel Hospital. I need to talk to you. So in that, this conversation is so timely and so perfect. So I apologize. Cindy, why don't you go ahead and unmute your mic and start the conversation. And in between time, I'll go back and get the questions. I saw them, but I was distracted positively. Cindy, go right ahead. Thank you, Dr. O.
You're welcome.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Jennifer, Dr. O, Dr. Oye, and Dr. Ajagbe, everybody. Thank you. My quick question is, what do you know about Moringa seeds?
Moringa seed is not just actually, let me put it this way. It's not just a laxative, it's a purgative. Now, a purgative is stronger than laxative. And eating too much of moringa seed can overpurge the body and make you lose a lot of nutrients.
Mm-hmm.
So it should be taken with moderation.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, one should not take more than, say, 3 seeds at a time for cleansing the body.
Mm-hmm.
And that is it. Another good use of moringa seed, particularly in rural areas, is to use it to purify surface water, which is common in rural areas, for drinking. It has the capacity to precipitate impurities in water very quickly.
Okay.
You turn it into powder and you suspend it in a handkerchief or in any cloth, and then it will purify that water.
Awesome, Dr. Oye, thank you. This is Manasi to you. So I know the name Oye is good in Accra.
Oye is a wapim to say Oye.
Mm-hmm. All right. I'm trying to test if you still remember your good job, though. Thank you so much. So the question is it a mystery to call kidney beans, or there is a reason why it's called kidney beans?
Kidney beans is a It's a signature name. In naturopathy, we have what we call signature. God creates some things to resemble parts of the human body because he is speaking to us that that thing will help that part of the human body. Flat kidney beans has a therapeutic effect on the health of the kidneys. So eating kidney beans is going to help to sanitize our kidneys. People who eat it regularly are very sure that they may not get a lot of kidney disorders. That's one use of the kidney beans. But of course, you know, it's also protein and it's going to do the work of protein in the body.
Thank you so much. So the last question we have is,
Just kidding, I will come back again. Oh, sorry. What?
Miracle Leaves.
Yeah, okay.
Miracle Leaves.
What is miracle leaf?
Yes,
Which one?
I've seen it. It's an oval shape with like zigzaggy on the edges.
You see
green.
miracle leaf, but you know that generally in the scientific world, we call one plant the miracle tree, and that is Moringa.
Okay.
So if you describe a bit more the one you are calling the miracle leaf, I may know it. How does it look like? Hello? Hello?
She said the leaves are jagged.
Yeah, there are about 1,000 leaves that are jagged. In science, you have to be precise. That's why we learn scientific names, you know. So if you describe it, is it a tree? Is it a shrub? Is it a herb? Botanically.
So
is it a small tree?
Perhaps Cindy, you can send capture a picture of the leaf.
Exactly,
and
an image.
Send it to Dr. O.
Yes.
Or to me. Send it to you can also send it to Medical Mondays DRO and at gmail.com. I'll put that email address in the chat box. And if you can capture the picture, we can try to get it and get an answer back to you specifically offline. We have a few more questions and we may be able to get it done before we conclude tonight, but if not, we will follow up.
Okay.
There are two other questions. I have Nkichi Free.
Hello.
Hello. Hi, Dr. O. This has been very informative, especially from a holistic perspective. Do you have any recommendations for plants or herbs that could help a stagnant thyroid or to spark metabolism? Thank you.
Did you speak about fibroids?
No, thyroid. My thyroid.
Thyroid?
Thyroid. So when you said thyroid, do you mean hypo or hyper?
Oh, I'm hypo. My thyroid is literally thyroid is literally non-existent at this point, and I'm on Synthroid. And I was just wondering if there was something. Sorry for the phone in the background, everybody. I did not know it was going to ring at this time.
So
I'm so embarrassed.
It's hypothyroid, sir.
Hypo. Yes, it's hypo, and so therefore my metabolism non-existent.
I can make a formulation. I can make a formulation for hypo. But what comes to my mind immediately, which you can get to use under a doctor's advice, is called kelp, K-E-L-P. Have you heard that before?
Kelp, like the seaweed.
Do you use kelp?
No, I don't.
Yeah, seaweed is a very useful herb for balancing the hormonal this thing on. because of thyroxine. Yeah, kelp, K-E-L-P. Another herb that works on all the hormonal system for balance is called chist tree. Have you heard that before?
No, sir.
C-H-A-S-T-E, chist tree. The scientific name is Vitex, V-I-T-E-X. I have
Is
it
it in
right.
a powder form or is it
It's
in
a
a plant?
seed. It's the seed. It's the seed. Then they grind the seed into powder, and you can use it for tea. I have it in my lab here.
But sir, if she contacts you, sir, can you
I can post
maybe
everything
get
to
her
him.
his formulation? Because I've seen you in action with it.
Yes,
And I think that may be more helpful for her.
it's
Because
okay.
even knowing the combination and all to put together,
Yeah, it's
she
okay.
may not know.
People can have my address. They can have my phone number. It's okay.
Yes, we put the phone number in the chat, and we
Yeah.
are gonna, I'll repost it again. We have a couple of more questions
It's
that
okay.
we want to get in. One is from Bishop. Bishop, are you on?
Yes, I'm on.
Okay, go right ahead and ask your question.
Yeah, my question is, I wanted to find out if there's, I know probably there is, like a naturopathic recommendation to treat high blood pressure instead of like regular medications.
Well, I have more than 50 different herbs for high blood pressure. There are so many of them. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And
Yeah.
so I just dropped Dr. Oyer's number in the chat box again. I'll keep doing it throughout our show. I'm trying to get through the last couple of questions so that we can conclude for the evening and then plan and schedule, as we've already said, Dr. Oyer, for you to be back with us, to have Dr. Mike back with us. There was a question.
Dr. Ajagbe made a comment.
Yes.
I don't know if he
Go
wants
right ahead.
to talk about it. Dr. Ajagbe. Dr. Ajagbe, sir, are you there, sir?
Doctor, okay, go right ahead.
Hello.
Hello. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Thank you for the invitation, Dr. O. Yeah, I've learned quite a lot of things from the presentation. The question and answers have been very illuminating. Well, I just wanted to point out one or two things. I believe that there is an infinite number of alternatives to solving a particular problem. And that has been, elucidated by Brother Mike. And one of the things I wanted to raise up was the fact that sometimes people don't sleep well, not because they don't want to sleep well.
Okay, that's true.
But one of the problems that is very minimally alluded to is the jaw formation. What you have to understand is the way the upper jaw is formed affects breathing health because the nitric oxide that the body really needs for the lungs to be stabilized when we exchange air comes from the maxillary sinus.
Yeah.
Many people do
You're
not.
speaking too many big words. Got to break it down.
Okay. All right. So what we're talking about here is the upper jaw. What you call your sinuses, the sinuses, the one of the in the maxilla, which is the upper jaw, actually produces the nitric oxide that the lungs need in order for the oxygen and carbon dioxide to be exchanged. Many people that don't have good development of their upper jaw will always have problem with their lungs And that is because they don't have enough nitric oxide that, disinfects the air that they breathe. So there's something that makes people not to sleep well. And because of the upper jaw not well developed, the airway in the back of the nose also becomes compromised. And because of that, many people have what we call the sleep apnea. They can't breathe, they keep stopping while they're sleeping from breathing. And so sometimes you see people who are having severe problems with breathing, not being able to sleep well. And one of the ways by which you can tell that they have problems with sleeping is the dark circles around their eyes. Unfortunately, many people who are using skin bleaching will leave their eyes, their eyelids cannot be bleached because it is not because of pigment, it is because they are not sleeping well. And that is what we call venous pooling, which causes the dark circles around the eyes. So some of these things are interrelated. I don't know that there is any naturopathic way to correct, the issue that developmental abnormalities can cause. So there are ways by which those ones can be corrected, and they are easy, but they could be expensive. And I just wanted to allude to that. The other thing I put in my comment is the fact that probiotics, regular use of probiotics helps to cleanse the large bowel,
Correct.
and that's the colon.
Yeah, correct.
And so I try to, include that as part of my diet.
That's good.
On a regular basis, to clean the colon regularly. And then
Dr. Ajagbe, that is wonderful.
And then the last comment I was going to, I also put there was the fact that you are talking about melon seeds. Well, I broke the myth. I used the pumpkin seeds to make egusi soup.
Very good.
It was one of the most delicious egusi soup you will ever eat.
You are wonderful.
So
I have the pumpkin seeds right on my table here.
Yeah, so I think for zinc, pumpkin seed is one of the
best.
The richest sources of zinc. So I just wanted to interject that and kind of add that to what you've already
Dr. Ajagbe, you are a naturopath. You are a naturopath.
Yes, he is.
Yes, yeah. I'm so happy hearing from you.
Thank you, sir.
Incidentally, may I say that singing, music increases the nitric oxide. Exercise increases it. The body produces this. So those two things also help.
It's beautiful.
I understand that. But the reason I mentioned the one for the upper jaw.
No, you are correct. I'm only adding that. That's all.
Yeah, okay. Because see, the air that goes in must be sterilized in order for us not to have. And correct. The nitric oxide helps in the sterilization of the air that we breathe in on a regular basis.
Correct.
So many people who constantly have respiratory problems, usually when when they finally come to a dentist who knows what the problem is, the diagnosis is made, and then these people can get relief from their respiratory problem because the upper jaw can be stimulated to grow properly. No, and that's the kind of thing I'm talking about.
Okay.
And we're using the technique called biomimetics.
Okay.
The biomimetics, it's a natural way of causing the body to grow to its full potential.
Okay.
Without much chemical intervention, but forces and apply to cause the jaw to grow to the full size.
Okay, that's great.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ajabe, we have even had a request to have you be on a future show as one of our special guests. So we will be calling you offline to follow up for you to do a piece on dental health and other ENT.
Sure.
We have 2 more questions and then we're gonna wrap up. Normally we take a break in the show to give everybody a 5-minute comfort break, but now we're gonna ask our final questions, hear from Dr. O, our medical moment, our Medical Mondays moment, and then we will conclude our show and stay for some additional 10 minutes of questions and answer. We have a question from Josephine. Josephine, are you still on with us?
Yes, I am.
Okay, go right ahead.
I use Triphala tea for to control regular bowel movement. I just want to make sure I'm not overdoing it. How often should I take it? Should I take a break from it, or
what did you call the
every
tea?
day?
What is the tea?
Triphala. It's Triphala.
Okay. It's a herb, is it?
It is.
If it is a herb, it's okay, but you must use it as a prophylaxis rather than using it continuously.
Okay.
Yeah, perhaps if you use it once a week and you see that you are still having your bowels moving well, that would be okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. And Josephine, can you please pronounce your last name?
Laye.
Laye. Thank you. I did not want to mispronounce it. Thank you, Josephine.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Is Jane Bonner still on with us? Jane Bonner, go right ahead. Hello, Jane.
How are you?
Hi, Jane.
Hello, Dr. O. Hello, everybody. Hello, Dr. Oye.
How are you?
Good. I asked my question for the class. So I'm so interested in the class because I want to learn more.
Okay.
Absolutely. Well, Jane, we started Medical Mondays. We started this concept when Dr. O and I were traveling back from a fabulous trip in Europe. We had gone to Spain and Paris. And on the way back, we were talking about what we were going to take away from this break. We had almost 2 weeks with no telephones except posting on social media, which was fabulous for both of us. And we talked about Medical Mondays, and Dr. Caprice Aiti, when we all gathered for a celebration in the new year, socially distanced. It was only a few of us, and we made a commitment to get this started. So we just started Medical Mondays. We'll be here every Monday at 7:00 p.m. You'll be on our guest list. I hope that you have our link to be able to register. And if not, I have your email address and we'll make sure to continue to follow up with you. But Medical Mondays is this is just the beginning. We are gonna evolve Medical Mondays into other platforms, into a podcast. We're going to move into retreats and preparing for conferences. This is going to be more than a notion because we believe that God has called us to change the world, to increase health through Dr. O and her amazing spirit and capacity for community medical missions and bringing health to the people at the point of need. And so thank you so much, Jane, for welcoming, and we look forward to having you join in on the work that we're going to do.
And I'll bring more people.
Absolutely, Jane. We have the most amazing thing. We have something called VIP and Champions of Medical Mondays. And if you are able to bring a minimum of 10, but up to 25 people, you will become a Medical Mondays VIP. There are prizes involved, but all kinds of other special things in the future. In addition to that, we also have on Medical Mondays champions. And if you are able to bring an organization, more than 25 people, we would absolutely love to have you. And And since this show is about medicine, but Dr. Mike just told us how powerful music was, we'd love to get your son to come on and do a musical performance for us on Medical Mondays.
Wow.
You got it.
Thank you so much, Jane. If there's anyone else, I see a couple of more questions in the chat box. We really need to move all questions to after we close out the show. We started at 7 o'clock and it's now 9 o'clock. We normally take a break at 8 and then have question and answers. So Dr. Opisami, I am going to give the mic to you, to everyone. Before Dr. Opisani gives her concluding remarks and gratitude, I want everyone to unmute their mics and give Dr. Mike a wonderful round of applause for the knowledge. Thank you so much, Dr. Mike. And don't go anywhere. We have a few more things. Hold on just a moment. Let me get us back to speaker view. And Dr. Opisami, the mic is yours.
Amazing God, amazing God, amazing day again. The Lord did it again. And all glory and all honor to him. You know, today, that ugly face tried again, but he failed again. Dr. Mike didn't hear us, we didn't hear him. It's been on since 6:45, everyone. And, you know, thank God one day is home today. I just gave my phone to her and say, figure this out. And here we are. See, God is God, and we're going to give him all the honor and all the glory. I am just so excited. I learned so much again. I have sat at Brother Mike's feet. I dragged him to my house. Jennifer is witness. Jennifer can just to learn naturopathic medicine and to see where, you know, it crosses, it bridges allopathic medicine. Routine is important. Routine health maintenance. That word routine keeps coming up. Routine health maintenance helps us to get into the preventive medicine. Routine helps us to have better health. We have to have routine in our life. We need to have this maintenance that we do also in our life. So that word routine keeps coming up. And I just pray that the Lord would help us to maintain excellent health, because really, think about it, our body is the temple of God.
Mm-hmm.
You're serving the Lord Jesus, your body is the temple of God, and you've got to guard what comes into it. You've got to watch what comes into it. You have to keep it healthy, because it's not yours. As a child of God, the body is not yours. It is the Lord. So the Lord would help us, and we will continue to maintain good health. And congratulations to my brother Ephraim, who is now down from the 200s. Isn't this fantastic? In 1 week. This is our 4th Medical Monday, isn't it? And in 4 short weeks, he's no more in the 200s. Because you know what? We can hear, but we have to obey. Every time God gives us a word, gives us instructions, we have to obey. Same thing here. The Lord is speaking to us every week through someone, through multiple people. And I pray that the Lord will give us the heart to listen and to obey. Thank you for another amazing Monday. Thank you, Dr. Jennifer Jones, Dr. Caprice, Dr. Jagbe today. Thank you, sir. And sir, his name is Dr. Mike Oye. I like to call him Papa Mike, but guess what? Everyone calls him, we all call him Brother Mike. Brother Mike. So thank you so much, sir. God bless you.
God bless you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. O. It is so wonderful to see so much joy on your face. Everyone, we are going to take a moment's break. If you don't need a comfort break, then please go. Just enjoy the music. And we will be right back in 3 minutes to follow up with any additional questions and conversations.
Great.
I hope that everyone enjoyed just a moment of inspiration and fun. Dr. Mike told us tonight that we should move. So even if you're doing a little bit of chair dancing, it's all right. Everyone, this is our time to have talk and conversation with Dr. O, Dr. Mike, and all of us as guests. So there were a couple of other people who entered some questions into the chat room. Please raise your hand so that I can see you. The raise your hand feature has moved to reactions. So if you hover over your screen to get to the toolbar and you open up reactions, it will raise your hand. There's a pad now to raise your hand. So please, if there's anyone, please raise your hand, and I'm gonna scroll back up through the questions. Dr. Ajib.
So I think you have Janice Thomas. I don't know. Yeah, Janice Thomas.
Good afternoon, good evening, everyone. I posted my chat in the chat room, my question in the chat room. It was for Dr. Oye, if you have had any success treating women with hair loss, and if so, with what?
You are muted, sir. You are muted, sir. Now you're good.
Yep. The question again, please.
If you have treated women with hair loss and had any success, and if so, with what?
Hair loss. Well, there are a few herbs. There are a few herbs that can help with hair loss. I've treated a few people. One of them is called Bidens pilosa. Bidens pilosa. I don't think, well, I have grown it here before, but it's very common in West Africa. Bidens. Then the second name is Pilosa. Bidens pilosa. You can use the juice from the leaves topically, and you can drink the tea from the leaves. The local name in Nigeria is Abere Oloko. Abere Oloko. The farmer's needle. That's the one I know most.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Oye, please. What about Ori, the African shea butter?
Yeah, that one actually reconditions the hair itself, but I believe it's also good for the substrate, that is the follicles where the hairs grow, from where the hairs grow. Coconut oil will also do the same thing as Ori.
And that's shea butter. Ori is shea butter.
Ori is shea butter, yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Sir, what about prostate cancer? We see a lot of prostate cancer. In medicine, we know that when a man has prostate cancer, before we used to say, it's a slow growing cancer, and it would take like 20 years for it to even bother somebody. Now we see more aggressive forms. Men are beginning to have, metastasis, meaning, the cancer now moves from where it is to another part, of the body quicker than it used to be. So what can be done to prevent, and what can be done when it has occurred, sir?
Good. I think the basic issue again is diet. The reason why the thing is increasing now and becoming more stubborn is that people are eating more chemicalized foods, genetically modified food, and so on and so forth. And if we do a lot of self-discipline and self-control, and we are more selective in what we eat, it's going to minimize the effect. But having said that, there are many herbs that can be taken as part of our supplementary diet to help control prostate enlargement and even prostate cancer. I have a catalog of them and I prepare them for people. But I advise very much on health, on diet. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Dr. Oye, we know that a number of people are going to follow up with you. We've given them your phone number so that they can text you and call you. So what should people expect when they call you, just in general? Because we just love you so much, because not only are you an expert and a wealth of information, but you give us so many practical tips that we can apply to life. What should our listeners expect when they contact you?
Well, when they mention any challenge, I first of all ask them a few questions which are pertinent to what they have, spoken about. I counsel on diet very much. I counsel on general things to do in their lifestyle, the changes that should come. Then the last thing I speak about is remedial measures, herbs and other things that are available in my own lab, which I can use to prepare formulation and send to them with instructions. And then I follow up to see that, they are using those things in the right way. If they order for something again, I have to have a feedback to know how effective what has been supplied has been. And then I modify the formulation again. It depends. But it's an ongoing thing. One of the things I need to do is to make sure that I don't continue to treat people for a long time. My success is to see that they are healed and that they are in control of their lives. Yeah.
That is so beautiful, Dr. Oye. We are just overjoyed to have had you this evening. You have just given us so much additional information. There have been great conversations in the chat. We'll make sure to get those over to you. And now for one final wrap up before we conclude our evening, I'm going to ask Dr. O for her final comments, and we will then come back and tell everyone how they can get in touch with us every Monday night at 7:00 p.m., Medical Mondays. So please share the Medical Monday link. We ask you to share the link to this Zoom with everyone, from family, from friends, faith-based and nonprofit organizations, community organizations. Even some of your elected leaders can send people to Medical Mondays as a resource for health information, as a resource for data, strategies, and for the possibility of solutions. to solve our health problems and to link and connect you with this amazing resource of medical expertise and talent. I love to tell Dr. O's story, but this outstanding and amazing woman has been involved in community health, not for a few years. It wasn't just something she did for trend. This is what she does here in the US and abroad. She's an expert in substance use, an expert in HIV care, an expert in community health. And so what you have is not just her, but her entire network and resource of experts, as we have all experienced here with Dr. Mike. So this concludes my evening. Dr. O, I give you the mic, and we will be signing off of Medical Mondays.
Thank you so much, Jennifer. I don't know what to say to you. Now, Jennifer is talking about me. She's a mover and shaker. She's a builder. Where can I start? The clinic we have for non-profits, where we have the sickest patients in Maryland, Jennifer was fundamental in getting that clinic there so we can service patients in the Capitol Heights area. I can go on and on. She was chair of the Women's Council.
Yes, the Commission for Women, yes.
Commission for Women for many years in Prince George's County, for years. I mean, you say a president is there for this years and all. When it's time for Jennifer to leave, everybody says no. She has to go. She has to go on. So thank you so much, Jennifer. And as she said, rightfully said, this has been in incubation for 2 years when we went to Spain and Paris. We had a wonderful time, but coming back, she said, we have to have Medical Mondays. We have to have Medical Mondays. And thanks to Caprice, another powerhouse. That one is the gentle giant. When you say gentle giant, somebody who stands in the background will not show her face. Can you believe it? We saw her face beautifully dressed, but she had turned off her camera as soon as everybody came on. And she does so much in the background, gets the gifts together. The chair I'm sitting on, brought it to my house, wants me to sit on this chair for this Medical Mondays and stuff like that. But Caprice will not show her face. She's a gentle giant who, one of those people who just works for the Lord, and the Lord will continue to bless you both. And thank you so much, Brother Mike, Papa, who is always there. I can call him anytime, and I'm sure that he's going to just deliver for me. Even when we went to Oshogbo, he offered his house for us to stay without qualms, without charge. Even the caterers provided another section that the caterers should cook in. Very generous, Papa, in everything, in advice, spiritual advice, in regular advices, in naturopathic medicine. He has treated my allergies. I couldn't stay where there's amala powder before. And I have to take Zyrtec, things we have in allopathic medicine are things you use ongoing. But I told him about my allergies, and he sent me some leaves to steam and take 3 times a day for just a month. And I repeated my allergy panel, and my allergens had disappeared. So naturopathic medicine does work, and it does have a place in allopathic medicine. So thank you so very much, sir.
God bless you.
Thank you. I appreciate you, sir.
You're welcome.
And I have some good news. In the chat box, there has been request that Dr. Jagbe comes, and somebody asked that he comes next week.
Good.
The person asked specifically, can we have Dr. Jagbe next week? And did I tell you about Caprice a few minutes ago? She jumped on it, created a group chat immediately with Dr. Jagbe and us, and guess what? Dr. Jagbe has agreed to be here next week.
Amen.
So next week we will learn about our teeth health, and you will be in for a huge surprise, because you will learn how dental, Oral health is connected to the heart.
They used to come to the.
Do you believe that? You will learn how dental health is connected to your heart, to your heart health. So we're going to be in for another beautiful week next week by the grace of God. And I pray that the Lord keeps us safe till we meet again. Thank you.